What's up, guys? It's Ben with 2020 election predictions. In today's video, we are going to look at the 13 keys to winning the White House. Alan Lichterman, Lichtman, who he just published a video op-ed explaining who he thinks is going to win in 2020. In 2016, he predicted that Trump would win, and he was right. He was one of the few political scientists, serious political scientists, who predicted Trump's victory in 2016. So I do think that this does lend Alan Lichtman credibility. He came out with this book in 1996, but he's been predicting victories, presidential victories, ever since I think 1982. So one thing I want to look at right now is I want to look at the 13 keys and just apply that to where we are in 2020. I'm going to use what I think is my opinions on these issues, because they're the 13 keys, and some of them can be a little bit subjective. So if the challenging party when six or more, or if six or more of these things are false, then the challenging party will win, which is Joe Biden right now. And if five or fewer of the statements are false, then the incumbent party, which is Donald Trump, would win. And after I do this for just between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, I want to explain why I think this methodology is a little bit flawed, and how Alan Lichtman's prediction this go around could be wrong. And if you haven't subscribed right now, please do so right here. And I can get to 4,000 watch hours, so I can start doing some live election result predictions. All right, so moving in, just look at the party mandates. So after the midterm elections, the incumbent party holds more seats in the U.S. House of Representatives than after the previous midterm elections. So obviously the Democrats gained 40 seats in the midterm elections. So that's one false statement. So if it ends up being 6 blue states, I'm just going to fill them in at random, then that means that Joe Biden will be projected to win. If it's 5 or fewer, then Donald Trump's going to win. Contest. There's no serious contest for the incumbent party nomination. That is true. Bill Weld, Joe Walsh, there's some maybe like a little bit of contesting, but nothing that rivaled like the likes of 1992, for example, with George H.W. Bush, and his name is escaping me right now, but I'm sure you can remind me in the comments. So number 3 is the incumbency. The incumbent party candidate is the sitting president. That is true. So that's 2 to Donald Trump, 1 to Joe Biden. 4, there's no significant third party or independent campaign. So obviously, like in 1992, 1996, Ross Perot, there definitely was. And you could even argue that in 2016, like Gary Johnson was a pretty viable third party candidate in terms of like taking away votes from either Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. In 2020, I know Kanye is running, but I really don't think he's going to get even half the votes that Gary Johnson got in 2016. And the Libertarian Party candidate, I think Joe Jorgensen, does not seem to be as strong of a candidate as Gary Johnson was. So this is true. And so it's Donald Trump. Let's see. 5, short-term economy. The economy is not in recession during the election campaign. I don't know if officially the economy is in recession, but essentially it is, just because of coronavirus. If the coronavirus pandemic had not hit, I think this key could have been true. The long-term economy, real per capita economic growth during the term equals or exceeds mean growth during the previous 2 terms. This is going to be a key that's going to be pretty hard to do. If it weren't for coronavirus, obviously the long-term economic growth has exceeded, I think, what it did during Barack Obama's 2 terms. Because of coronavirus, I actually do think it's going to have a long-term impact. So I'm going to have to say this key is false. So right now we're at 3 false keys and 3 true keys. 7 is policy change. The incumbent administration affects major changes in national policy. I think that we can definitely say this with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, with different executive orders. Oop, my light just went out. All right. Oh well. And I think we can say just with several other things, with the wall, that was a big thing that Donald Trump emphasized in 2016, and he has built on part of the wall. So I definitely think we can say that there has been policy change that has been enacted. Um, Social unrest. There's no sustained social unrest during the term. If it weren't for the George Floyd protests, I think I can say that this key would be true. But because of the recent Black Lives Matter protests, I can definitely say that there has been significant social unrest, more than there was in Barack Obama's or George W. Bush's um, term. I mean, I don't think we've had social unrest this bad since like 1968, and maybe it's even worse now than it was then. So right now we're at 4-4. Scandal. The incumbent administration is untainted by major scandal. I mean, obviously this is debatable, depending on what side of the political aisle you're on. But I'm going to say that this is false, just because there has been a lot of scandal, at least perceived by the media. Donald Trump he was impeached. So I mean that's a huge deal. He's the first president going for reelection after being impeached. So I can definitely say that um, has contributed to. So let's see, that's 9. All right. So military success or failure. Frankly, Donald Trump's focus has been on domestic issues and kind of in this country. So I don't think we can say that there's been any foreign policy failures. I think we could argue this maybe with like George W. Bush's term, or with Vietnam, or some other scandals like the Iran-Contra scandal, or some other things. But during Donald Trump's presidency, foreign policy has not really been the emphasis. So he hasn't had any failures for sure. So right now we're at 5-5. All Joe Biden needs is one more key to win. So let's see. Foreign military success. The incumbent administration achieves a foreign success, or a major success in foreign or military affairs. This one is definitely debatable. I think Donald Trump was successful in outing ISIS. Um, and I mean, you could argue like some. I mean, there really hasn't been a lot in terms of foreign policy, but I mean, I think you could say that overall, I mean, Trump has funded the military more. That there hasn't really been any failures. I don't know about successes. So right now, I'm going to leave that key blank, and I'm going to come back to it. So number 12, the incumbent party charisma. The incumbent party candidate is charismatic or a national hero. So Donald Trump, I would not say is like a national hero in the sense that like he was in the military, or he served in the military. Charismatic. I mean, I would definitely say he's pretty charismatic. He is divisive, so I don't know if charismatic is the right word. I mean, he's definitely exciting. He can rally up his base. Right now, I'm going to say that. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give, for the foreign military success and incumbent party charisma, I'm going to give each candidate a half a key. So I'm just going to split the difference there. So I'm going to give one to Joe Biden and one to Donald Trump. And then lastly, we have that the challenger party charisma. The challenging party candidate is not charismatic or a national hero. I mean, this is definitely true. I think you can say that Joe Biden is not very charismatic, even though he can be very likable in terms of the polls, in terms of the favorability ratings. He is a net positive likability. He is not charismatic at all. I think probably one of the least charismatic candidates we've had in a while. That's nothing. I'm not trying to speak badly about Joe Biden or trying to be partisan, but he just frankly is not a very charismatic candidate. So that's definitely to Donald Trump. So right now we have 7 keys that are true, that which would like go in Donald Trump's favor, and 6 keys that are false that would go in Joe Biden's favor. And I gave each candidate a half a key with the military success and incumbent party charisma. So right now you see that if 6 or more are false, then the challenging party is predicted to win the popular vote, and the incumbent party is predicted to win if 5 or fewer statements are false. So right now, this would give Joe Biden the victory in the popular vote. However, that doesn't really mean much. When we look at the Predicted website, a lot more people think like that Donald Trump can win the presidency without winning the popular vote than they do the opposite. Like, fewer people think that Donald Trump's going to win the popular vote and the presidency rather than um, vice versa being true. So this prediction really doesn't mean much. In 2016, Alan Lichtman predicted that Donald Trump would win the popular vote, and he was wrong. So in the election of 2000, he predicted that Al Gore was going to be the winner, and he said that, oh well, I predicted my model projects the popular vote, so technically I was right. Well, in 2016, he got it wrong the other way. So Donald Trump won the election. So the headline, of course, is he predicted Trump's win in 2016. It's true. He predicted Trump would win the popular vote, but he was wrong. Obviously, the headline is not going to say that. So really, Alan Lichtman can't have it both ways. And right now, like it in this video op-ed, he predicts that Joe Biden will win the popular vote, which really doesn't mean much. And honestly, with these keys, I feel like we're splitting hairs on foreign military success and incumbent party charisma. I think you could easily argue that Donald Trump has charisma because, I mean, he's a very charismatic candidate. I mean, I don't know if charismatic is the exact word, but like I don't know how you define charisma in this specific definition. And also, like I would say Donald Trump's foreign military policy has been a net positive for it, but I don't know like what you have to get to be a success. Like, do you have to win a war? Like, we haven't really been engaged in a war, so I'm very interested into how they define these things because if you define it one way, then you could say, okay, Donald Trump's going to win the popular vote. That's why I don't really think this is a very good model. As you can see in the 2020 election, he said that Donald Trump will lose the 2020 election based on 7 of the 13 keys turning false against the incumbency. So I did 6 because I did half a key for the foreign military success and incumbent party charisma. But I guess that Alan Lichtman says that Donald Trump is not charismatic just because he's so divisive. I could see someone making this argument and also saying that, well, Donald Trump hasn't had any foreign or military failures or successes. So these 2 keys are false. So I totally understand Alan Lichtman's methodology, and he has been consistent since he's been doing this, but he's not like this article is obviously a little bit of clickbait. Like predicting that that Joe Biden's going to win the popular vote, I mean, that's not a hot take at all. I mean, like 80%. That's like an 80% likely based on the betting market. So that's not like a hot take necessarily. And we've seen reports even out of the New York Times that Donald Trump can lose the popular vote up to like 5 percentage points and still win. So I think this title is a little bit misleading in that he's not predicting that Joe Biden will win the election. He's predicting that he will win the electoral college vote. So I hope y'all like this video. I'll be doing one tomorrow, and please subscribe and give this comment a like, and please comment on it. Thanks, guys.